In 2015, we left the rat race and went to the farm. We bought a 100-year-old farmhouse and 9 acres. After 3 years of extensive renovations, we can finally call ourselves College Hill Farm.
Hi folks, welcome back to College Hill Farm. Today we're planting bare rootstocks. Today I'm in the orchard and we're planting bare rootstock plants. The variety I've got here is called autumn olive. Now these are a bush. You can keep them trained to a bush. We like them because we make wine out of them, and my wife makes jams and jellies. They're usually used, we learned to love them when they were used to reclaim old strip mines in Appalachia when we lived in Harlan County. So what we do with these, you want to take these bare rootstocks and take them apart, and I'm going to show you how to plant them and I'm just going to show you how to plant them the way they're supposed to be planted. Trees and bushes are a little different. I've got all of the trees here that I need, but these are something that we wanted to add. We also wanted to add some hedge cherries and some other things, some dwarf flowering cherries. So we've got all those things and we're going to plant them today, and I'm going to show you how. It's a brisk April day. It's about 40 degrees and the wind's blowing about 20 miles an hour, so it's really cold on my ears, so I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. When you're doing this kind of bare rootstock, when you purchase it, it comes like this. It's taped up, and you take that off and you'll see that you have this bare rootstock. Now it should be good and wet. Alright, I don't know if you can see that too well, but it's pretty wet. Now what you want to do is you want to look at the rootstock and see where it was in the ground before. Alright, this is a bush. Bushes, you want to bury them into the ground approximately as deep as their top root here, right on it. But if it's a tree, you want to go 2 inches above that and bury it in the ground that far. Okay? A bush, you bury at the top of the roots, and a tree, you bury 2 inches above the last root. Now, these are going to have to withstand some really cold temperatures. Right now, like I said, it's 40 degrees and the wind's pretty stiff, 18-20 miles an hour. But these are going to have to withstand some really cold temperatures. Tonight it's going to be, I think it said 28, and tomorrow night it's going to be 23. So it's going to be really cold. So these little bushes have to withstand that. But the reason they're dormant is because they're ready for winter. Now this one's starting to break dormancy. So some of this little green development here is going to die off, but it shouldn't kill the woody part. It might damage it some, but it shouldn't kill it. So I'm going to go ahead, and it's not rocket science. You dig a hole, I'll bury it up to here. Then tonight, I'll water it in good and cover it with hay. Then tonight it's going to freeze. So in the morning I'll come out and just step on the hay around to make sure that the roots are still covered good and in good contact with the soil. And then after the morning, when we have the 23 degrees, I'll do the same thing and probably bring it another drink of water. So let's go ahead and get started with these. Now, I try to leave an indent in the soil, and what that does is it gives a place for the water to accumulate, kind of help hold moisture in at the rootstock. But what I'll do with these are called autumn olives again, and they'll grow to about 15 feet high if you let them. I'm not going to let them grow that tall, so I'm only going to space them about 10 feet apart, and we'll keep them trimmed to make it for easy picking. As a matter of fact, that's the way I pick them. I trim them when they're flat, when they're fruited out, and that allows me to trim and pick at the same time, and it keeps the bush in control. You spent your time, you got your trees planted, or your shrubs, whichever one, and now it's time to just make sure that you do everything correctly in the days to come. What you want to do, after you've watered them in and you've mulched them and you've got everything the way that you want it, about every 2 days or after any freeze, you want to come out and gently step on the soil around them just to make sure it stays firmed up and there aren't any freeze cracks or anything that cause the soil to pull away from the roots. And every couple of days you need to make sure that the soil is good and moist, and if it's not, you need to moisten it, and that means end of the summer. So if it doesn't rain enough, you need to come back and help those small shrubs or trees make sure that they're established good. Now here in Zone 6 in Kentucky, we seldom have to do much watering at all, but if I get a dry spell of a week or so, I come out and make sure that my new plants have a little bit of water. But other than that, we don't irrigate here. So I hope that you have as much success with your small trees and plants as we have. I've got all my trees and bushes in. One thing that you need to do is during that first year, first 2 years really, you don't need to fertilize. Now some folks will tell you to fertilize or put down compost or all that kind of stuff, but I'm just going to say, if you want to fertilize your tree, what you're going to do is cause the roots not to seek the nutrients they need. So they'll stay right in the planting hole. The top of the tree will grow, the top of the bush will grow, but the roots will never spread out as long as it's got fertilizer. You want those to go into the earth around where the planting hole was. So do not fertilize in those first 2 years. It'll reward you with a stronger root system. Now once it's rooted, you can start adding fertilizer in the 3rd year, but always put your fertilizer out around the drip edge of the tree. And what that means is when the tree leaves out or the bush leaves out, where those leaves end, you spread your fertilizer around close to that, just barely inside of the drip edge of the tree. That encourages the roots to come looking, and that helps with a healthier, stronger root system. I'd like to thank you for visiting with us at College Hill Farm today. I hope you found our videos entertaining and or informative. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on both Facebook and YouTube. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.